Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Breaking news. Philip Rivers is going to always want to play again. Talk to any retired football player. They're always going to want to play again. For the older football, they don't go by what he says. Philip Rivers struggled when he did play. Talking about coming back 2 years out. I remember this. I realized that, and hockey players aren't a whole lot different than football players, but the football players are worse. You got to largely drag them kicking and screaming from the field. And I remember this, Dupes. You remember the old swamp dog, Ron Este? I just talked to his wife a couple weeks ago. He was the defensive line coach for the Riders for years, and he felt like family to me. And his wife's Debbie, and they're living down there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And he won. He was on those Eskimo teams, the 5 in a row, 70s as well, iconic Edmonton team. So the people in Edmonton would know the name Ron Este. He's in the Eskimos Hall of Fame, Canadian Football Hall of Fame, LSU Tigers Hall of Fame. He's in every Hall of Fame. And he was the guy that talked like the water boy in the water boy. Who was the coach you couldn't understand? Was it the coach? Bobby Boucher? Swamp, yeah. We could never understand him. He had this southern drawl. We couldn't understand him. But I remember one time, Este, when he was with us with Saskatchewan, he said he would cut one arm, we'll win one point. We're like, what? You put subtitles under that? And I can't remember. One of the other coaches said he'd cut his arm off to have just one more play.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who's the Bucs quarterback if it's not Tom Brady? Which it's not Tom Brady. Tom's retired. I don't understand why there's no talk about that. So Ryan in New York, he says, right now, the Buccaneers quarterback depth chart is Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. I suspect they'll be shopping for a quarterback in free agency because if they don't, yikes.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Holla, holla, we damn boys. Coming at you live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio. Shout out Ryan O'Radio. iHeartRadio and YouTube. We're streaming. I'm just going to get to this message right out of the gate. This came to my phone this morning. Can't wait for your show today. It's from my buddy Jeff. He says, so many hockey storylines. Your Panthers win, but so do the Penguins and Islanders. The finish to this regular season is going to be really fun to watch. And coming up on the program today to talk about it, Stanley Cup champion and Vegas Golden Knights television color commentator Shane Hnidy in Hour 1 and Washington Capitals TV analyst Alum in Hour 2, who coincidentally is best friends with Jeff Pedersen, the guy that sent me the note. Let's bring in the Moose, Darren Moose Dupont, who remains in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And before we go back to last night's leftovers, and then dig into today's appetizers, Moose, which include the Winnipeg Jets, home to the Minnesota Wild tonight in a massive 4-point game in the Central Division. Are you feeling the anxiety, the angst coming at you from to your left, which would be the east out of Manitoba and Winnipeg? Are you feeling it with the Jets?
Yes, absolutely I am. I mean, for the Jets, yeah, like these are becoming playoff games. I don't know that they need to worry about missing the playoff. Until you clinch, you have to be cautious of it. But this is a big game, a big stretch, because, you know, now playoff positioning matters just as much as making the playoffs, you know, and getting this team squared away. So this is a big litmus test for this group tonight.
Well, that's the whole thing, man. We're going to give you a life lesson right out of the gate. And I feel somewhat, I got my knuckles wrapped for saying this. I said, I feel kind of guilty passing along advice as a guy that pretty much screwed up everything I ever touched in my life until now. But now I'm passing along this advice. Run your own race. It's why racehorses have blinders on. Run your own race, Winnipeg. Be the best Jets you can be. Calgary, be the best Flames you can be, because if you get 2 points every night, nobody can affect you, right? So, yeah, I'm right out of the gate. Now, and Jeff, can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan, if you don't mind? I got so many stories and things and anecdotes to get to today. I'm not even sure if we'll actually get to the games. But Jeff Pedersen is the guy that texted me. You know Jeff, the hotelier, hotel magnate. Yes. He's written in, and he says, my Panthers, they're officially my Panthers. And I'm going to get to the game last night where they beat my former team, the Vegas Golden Knights. That whole thing about you can't schedule feelings. When the Panthers scored last night, the Lamborghini, Ryan Lomberg, when he scored for Florida to make it 1-0, I got tingles. I was actually sitting in a luxury suite, and I'm like, okay, it's over. The torch has been passed. The Florida Panthers are now my team based on how I felt in here, with this goal going in. And then a nice lady was carrying these Alexander Barkov bobbleheads, Moose. I know you can't see them on radio, but trust me, it's magnificent. It's in the baby blue retro reverse Panthers jerseys. Their captain, Alexander Barkov. She had a handful of them. I said, excuse me, is it Alexander Barkov bobblehead night? And she said, no, that was a couple games ago, but we have some here. Would you like one? I'm like, yeah. Is the bear Catholic? So I got this thing, and I was showing my guy Thad and Jake this in between periods, and they said, you're getting quite the impressive bobblehead collection. And I said, yes, I have an Aaron Ekblad bobblehead that I got from Thad, and now my Barkov one, and I am just Bob's your uncle. So I'm still very much enjoying being a hockey fan, watching NHL hockey in South Florida, and nobody else is talking hockey but us here, so it's perfect. So anyways, could you hit the horn again, please, Director Jordan? And we'll get her going.
Hell yes.
10 games last night. Here is a sentence on each. In Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby's power play goal, 2:45 into overtime, finished off a frantic rally. The Penguins came back from 4-0 down and beat Columbus 5-4. In Montreal, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, old licorice legs, scored the deciding goal in the 6th round of the shootout to lead Carolina to their 3rd straight win, 4-3 over the Canadiens. In Newark, New Jersey, Austin Matthews scored on a power play with 2:53 to go to lift Toronto over New Jersey, 4-3. In New York, Josh Bailey and Hudson Fasching each had a goal and a helper in the 3rd to lead the Islanders past the Sabres 3-2. Here in Sunrise, Sergei Bobrovsky made 31 saves as Florida ended Vegas's 3-game win streak. They beat the Golden Knights 2-1, and to be honest, they made the Golden Knights look pedestrian last night. In St. Paul, Minnesota, Tyler Toffoli scored in the fourth round of the shootout to lift Calgary to a 1-0 win over Minnesota. The big story was Jacob Markstrom. Moosey was the first star, a 40-save shutty. And hey, can you all hear that? Can you all hear that? Here come the Flames. In Tampa, Alex Killorn and Nikita Kucherov each had 2 goals and an assist. In Tampa Bay, snapped a 5-game slide, dumping the Philly Flyers 5-2. In Seattle, Jared McCann scored his 5th goal in the past 5 games. Daniel Sprong scored for the first time since January 17th, and Seattle won its 5th in a row, 5-2 over Anaheim, and there were 2 other games. Arizona beat St. Louis 6-2, and Cale Makar and Valerie Nichushkin each had a goal and 3 assists to help the Avalanche drown the Sharks 5-0. Hell of a night of hockey. Those were my thoughts. What were yours on the Leafs going into New Jersey and winning?
Yeah, I thought that was big. Mitch Marner had a beautiful shorthanded goal in that one. Matthews winning it. I thought that's important for your stars to be your stars. And so a big game, tons of electricity. Remember the last time they went into New Jersey, they snapped the Devils' 13-game winning streak under some controversy for penalties and whatnot. But that was fun. This is fun. And so you like to see 2 really good high-end teams going toe-to-toe and coming down to late in the game. And then, for Calgary, I know we're going to probably get to that, but Markstrom, I mean, that's the kind of game you need. A 40-save shutout. Win it late. You've got back-to-back wins now, so you see Calgary might be coming, and maybe Markstrom can get on a little bit of a heater here. Save the season. Could you imagine?
Hey, Moose, I'm reading this daily game notes from the National Hockey League. It's one of my favorite things to do. My whole life is just reading game notes. And these are kind of like post-game notes. I like pre-game notes, post-game notes. And a couple of them are these. The Penguins became the third team to overcome a 4-goal deficit and win this year, with Sidney Crosby scoring in overtime, as I mentioned. Cale Makar factored in on 4 of the Avs' 6 goals, in which he reached 50 points and climbed multiple franchise all-time lists. And, I mean, this gets a little wordy, but stick with me. Sidney Crosby notched his 169th career three-point game. That ties him for Paul Coffey for 8th. Think of all Sidney Crosby's done. 3 Stanley Cups, the MVPs, the Olympic gold, which I understand is international competition, not the NHL, but he's still only tied Koff for 8th. Yeah, he's nowhere near the top guys, but he's still performing. He's now 3 3-point games shy of Stevie Y, by the way, for 7th. And then with Makar, where the heck is this? He became the 3rd active defenseman to reach the 50-point mark in a season in fewer than 50 games. The others, Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson, did it. You said your best players need to be your best players. That's the one thing. And the other that I saw, and anybody that was at the game here in Sunrise last night, tell me I'm wrong. I'll talk to Hnidy when he comes on. The Panthers played, Darren, like their lives depended on it. I'm looking at them. Nick Cousins, not that big. Lomberg, not that physically big. They're launching themselves at people. They're finishing checks. The Golden Knights just didn't seem to have it last night, clearly. They lost 2-1. But my point is, when the coaches say these things after the games, and frankly, it took me the longest time to realize that even when I was working in hockey, they're not just cliches. Finishing your hits, no mental errors. What did Tocchet say the other night? I know you're tired, guys, but don't kill us, right? With bad penalties, bad mental mistakes. If you play smart and you have the talent, because there's not a huge differential. What is there? 27 teams within a striking of a playoff spot. If you work hard and don't make mistakes, you get a chance to win every night. And that's the thing with the Flames. Would you not? The Canucks fan wrote in here the other day and said, hey, we're a grease fire, but I'd rather be the Vancouver Canucks than the Calgary Flames. And frankly, I'm not a Flames fan. Didn't you hear? I'm a Florida Panthers fan. But I'd far rather be the Flames because you know what? They have a talented, good team. So if they ever get their ducks in a row, look out. And I really wonder if that's coming.
Yeah. I mean, to be a Vancouver fan, the chances are you're not going to get the first overall pick. Like the odds would say you have a better chance of not getting it than you do of actually getting it. So that would really suck. So why not be a team that's in the chase for the playoff spot? I know it's Bedard. But when you talked about blinders, like that hit something for me. And being a racehorse early off on the top of the show, if you're the Flames or the Panthers, and you said they needed to go 14-4, so now they need to go, 13-4 now the rest of the way? They're knocking off wins. So if that's the goal and you're not worried about anybody else, you're pumped. If you're the Flames, you're sitting there, you're all pumped up. It's like, yes, one more. Boom, knock it off. We only need 11 wins now, and we're probably going to be in the playoffs. Trust that everything's going to take care of itself. If you worry about everybody else, you're going to come in excited after a win, look at the standings and realize everybody else won too, and you're like, oh, we didn't make up any ground. Now your win becomes a loss, and that affects you mentally, and it's going to affect you in the next game. So just worry about yourself and let the pieces, the chips fall where they may.
I don't know how many people were watching my face while you were talking, but this is like when I'm in these 12-step meetings, I'm listening to good points and I sit and I write things down, especially when we're in person. Things that I want to say based on what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Because my mind will go blank. That's me. But Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, so does Rod still think the Flames will make it? He may be right with a little luck. Ryan in New York says, my Devils lost. That's the Leafs game. He said Lindy mixed up the lines and the defense helped blow a lead late. Time to tighten the screws a bit. This is not going to make me any friends in the media, but don't worry, I don't have a lot left anyways. Don't listen to the media, because when the Flames were struggling earlier this year, and it's been a long year, it's been a long grind for everybody. I was in the Saddle Dome when the Sabres were there in October, and remember the Sabres, I think they were up 3-1 after the first period, and the Flames got booed off the ice in their own barn near the end of October. And I said to the media guys, did I hear the fans booing the Flames? No, Rod, you're hearing things. No, I'm pretty sure that they were booing the Flames. So then the media, and a lot of them are our friends, but I'd rather listen to the coaches than listen to the media, okay? And the media is like, oh, they're gonna shuffle the lines. They're gonna change up the lines, and that's gonna be, well, that didn't work. Well, they need to go on the road. They had an 8-game homestand. They sucked. They'll get out on the road. They'll be fine. Well, they sucked on the road too. Maybe even worse. So little tip here, it doesn't matter who the lines are, or the defensive pairings, or even who starts in goal if he's going to have his head up his ass.
How about that?
Back to what I said earlier, working 10 out of 10 every single night. And for some reason, somehow, Paul Maurice got him doing that. Because in December, the Panthers were not. I was here watching them then now. They look like a completely different team, and they're having fun. When they came onto the ice for a warm-up the other night, I can't remember what game it was. Well, Nick Cousins was like, he flew his body at Josh Mahura in warm-up. I'm like, what do you do? You're hitting each other? It's like when football players go and crash helmets. I'm like, what are you doing? But then they laugh. They're having fun. And that is a dangerous team. That's the Florida Panthers. And to the Flames, I don't care what the lines are. I know that the media gets the fans all stirred up with so-and-so's with so-and-so. And here's the D pairings. Like, that's going to matter. It's not. If you cough the puck up at the blue line on the power play to Connor McDavid. It doesn't matter. You need to play smart and play hard and not make mistakes, especially now. Jason in Red Deer. Good morning, squad. I'm looking like the Flames have some life, maybe. And this is the part that annoys me. Jeff earlier on said, he says, I take back what I've been saying about the Flames. After 2 straight road wins, the parade plans are back on. Do you understand now, Darren, why I say I don't want to listen to anybody?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it from any. Why do you think I get so annoyed? Jeff is an example of the people I get really annoyed at, because they come here, Jets fans, Oilers fans, whatever, fans have already bitch and moan. And then the team wins 2 in a row, and they're, forget what I said, I take it back. Why should I have listened to you the first time? Yeah. Fair? So Fair. That is our summation, our NHL leftovers. We have our NHL top 5, bottom 5 coming up. NHL appetizers, which is tonight's game. Ooh, juicy. The World Baseball Classic has begun. All of a sudden, I'm into it. We'll get to the poll question. It has to do with the Blue Jays. Some very interesting NFL stuff is coming down the pipe, so we'll be right back. Tell your friends we're live on YouTube, streaming, Game Plus TV, and, of course, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March, it's madness. Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the #1 rated sports talk show on Game Plus TV. The RP Show. Let's bring the Moose in. We can't say we're the #1 rated show because Cash Cab is #1. Ding! Ben Bailey. But I said to Moose, I think it's because so many people are watching us into Cash Cab. Huh?
It's that lead-in audience, baby.
How about that? Yeah. TV speak. By the way, I hope you're having as much fun as we are on this program today. Game Plus TV, WQEE. Shout out Rhino Radio. Vegas Golden Knights last night here in Florida lost 2-1. It was nice to watch, frankly, two of my favorite teams. One guy, let's call him Thad, said to me in between periods, he said, "You're very elusive with who your favorite team is." I said, "I'm not elusive at all. I don't really have one. It changes every few years. I know that annoys fans, but it's whoever's treating me the best at the time is my favorite team. How about that?" And for those that scoff at that, I say, how's your team treating you? When's the last time your team did anything nice for you? I'll wait. Oh, but what got me thinking about that is Corey in Radville, home of the Nationals. Corey writes in on the 902 line and says, "I hate Vegas because everyone just jumped on their bandwagon because they were good. Just dropped their own teams. It's the worst kind of fans. They're pathetic." Well, I cheered for Vegas because I was looking for a fresh start. They were a fresh team, and it worked there for a while. But then I was looking for another new fresh start and ended up in Florida. And they happen to be a hockey team here. How about that? So moving on with our points. The 20-team World Baseball Classic got underway after a 6-year absence, with the Netherlands defeating Cuba 4-2 in a Group A game in Taiwan to open the tournament. The United States won the last event in 2017 and is among the favorites, with the Dominican Republic and Japan, both former champions. Canada plays its first game Sunday against Great Britain in Phoenix. Let's spend a minute on that for a second. I won't be cheering for the USA in probably any international competition ever. And I was looking at the Canadian roster, and what the heck? We got our own buddy Andrew Albers was on the team. I didn't even know that. Pride of North Battleford Sask, and of course Freddie Freeman's on the team. There's some other current big league Canadians. Andrew is not he's currently a free agent, not signed with a big league club, but because of that, and I thank Alex in the Game Plus control room, you guys can all have a big chuckle there. You got me into the World Baseball Classic, got me looking up the roster, looking up the schedule, so now I'm into it. Didn't take much. How about you, Moose?
Yeah, I'm into it too. Andrew Albers, he's a former Saskatoon Yellow Jacket. We've had lots of time with him. It's another audition for him too, to maybe get a contract again and get back into the game. But he was, he's serviceable and he's going to be great for Canada. And I'm into it. You're right. Like, Canada's got some under the radar players here, and we'll see what they can do against the best in the world.
Man, time flies. Clark is the baseball guy on staff. I didn't realize the last one was 2017, and because I do remember, was that when he was in Phoenix? Because they're playing in Phoenix, Great Britain in Phoenix. But it was in Phoenix, right? My good friend Dustin Mulliken was pitching for Team Canada, and he was with the Detroit Tigers at the time. Remember there was a big brawl? Wasn't it against Team Mexico? Can we get some brawls this time around? I just can't believe that's the last time. Let's get a good Donnybrook in there, a brouhaha. Then I'll really pay attention. Point 6B, Placeline, Lakeland, Florida. Toronto pitcher Yusei Kikuchi continued his impressive spring with 3 no-hit innings before the Blue Jays fell 7-2 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kikuchi has been making a strong bid to join ace Alek Manoah, Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, and newcomer Chris Bassett in the Blue Jays starting rotation. He's yet to surrender a run in spring training and has struck out 9 over 7 innings in 3 preseason appearances. So it's brought us to today's poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. It is this. Capital, of course, has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Where do you think the Blue Jays will finish? And it's neck and neck on Twitter. 41% say second, 40% say first. What's the YouTube crowd saying, Clark? What are they saying? 50% say second place. That leads. So last year, I very closely remember, because we do this poll once a year, and this is the 4th year of us being on the air. I know it's new to a lot of viewers and listeners. They just found us, but we're in year 4, episode number 954. And 1 year ago, the audience, Darren, voted for third. Third place won out, preseason poll, and the Blue Jays ended up finishing second. I think it was 7 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. So expectations are lofty, but I would suggest now's the time. They certainly learned a lesson against Seattle in the playoffs, didn't they? And the biggest implosion in not just Blue Jays history, but Toronto sports history, save for Game 7 against Boston. Sorry, Clark. Bruins. But hey, the Toronto, the most hurting sports city in Canada. Sorry, I just don't shoot the messenger. But I'm going to vote first. What the hey? I'm going to vote first. How about you?
Number 1. Let's go. I think they got an opportunity here. As this young core gets a little bit older and a little more mature, they're not aging. The core is not aging. It's just into the prime. And so ride it. This group should be a better team than they were last year and take a step forward. At least that should be the expectation from everybody.
We will welcome your comments on the Toronto Blue Jays. Jeff in Winnipeg writes in, and he says, I almost didn't make it to work this morning because of the World Baseball Classic, LOL. Go Canada. Well, again, they're not playing until Sunday. John Ohm is watching in Winnipeg. And he says, Jets are going to get wild tonight. Boo! Well, we covered that right off the top with NHL appetizers, and we'll get more into that in hour 2. This is the biggest. If I was a Jets fan, I'd be nervous, and I think they are. They've actually been nervous for a while because here come the Flames. And is a lot of people going to feel really dumb when the Flames turn this thing around? And I'm not saying it's the Jets that they'll surpass, but I think the biggest key was Jacob Markstrom and his 40-save shutty last night. That doesn't just happen. It's a game about confidence, and it looks like he's got it back. Now, moving on, football. This is from the USA Today. I stole it. The table is just about set for free agency in the NFL for 2023. Yesterday, the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline passed for all 32 teams to use the franchise or transition tag to restrict the movement of one of their pending free agents. 6 players were tagged. I know for those that don't follow the NFL, this may seem tedious, but for those that do follow it, this is very big. The Baltimore Ravens slapped the non-exclusive tag on quarterback Lamar Jackson. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, put it on running back Tony Pollard. Jacksonville Jaguars put it on tight end Evan Ingram. The Raiders, non-exclusive tagged running back Josh Jacobs. Giants running back Saquon Barkley got that tag, and Washington Commanders defensive tackle Darren Payne. All are free to negotiate offers with other clubs and could be signed away at the cost of 2 first-round picks if their current team declines to match contractual terms. So I'll say this. I kind of felt internally, Moose, I was eating a little crow yesterday because all those things that we're talking about on ESPN came to fruition. I sort of wonder how does an insider like Dan Graziano, or for that matter, Adam Schefter of ESPN, how does he know that the Ravens are going to specifically put the non-exclusive tag on Lamar Jackson, which is different than the exclusive tag? Dan Graziano knew exactly what they were going to do. I've never quite figured out that part of the insider's game. Do you know how they do it?
I know. It's just relationships, as you know, and conversations, and constantly being in conversation and in touch with people to understand that there's interest out there. And it's just to kind of, gauge what the market is too. We also found out that they're not always correct. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons decided they're not in on Lamar Jackson. They're one of the teams that are out on Lamar Jackson now. They won't be digging around to try and see what he's looking for in terms of a contract. So not always 100%, but yeah, it's crazy how accurate they are, though, when they know these fine details.
In hour 2, I'm going to turn it over to a lot of the audience in terms of what they'd like to talk about. I was going to do a poll question today on what do you think will happen with Aaron Rodgers? Will it be a trade? Will he stay in Green Bay? But I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers, and I wanted to get that Blue Jays question out, and that seems to be a very popular poll. By the way, Clark, I don't know if you guys or our technical producer, Ryan Baracco, has connection or communication with Game Plus in Toronto, but you guys tell me in Toronto, if we're eligible to take a break, blink twice, because we got Shane Hnidy. We got Shane Hnidy lined up and ready to roll, and I don't want to take away his tanning time because I'm sure he's ready to go to the beach on this off day for the Golden Knights. Just point 6, the final point. The LA Lakers have retired Pau Gasol's number 16 jersey. They hung it in the rafters Tuesday night alongside the number 24 worn by the late Kobe Bryant. The 2 stars teamed up to reach 3 straight NBA Finals and win 2 of them after Gasol joined the Lakers in 2008. So kudos to Pau Gasol. Tonight, the Raptors are at the LA Clippers. Same barn, by the way. And our Atlanta Hawks, because we're on the radio in Atlanta, of course, visit the Washington Wizards. So we're going to have our way with the Wizards tonight. Moose, I'll see you in hour 2.
Okay, we'll see you then.
We are going to talk with the pride of Nipawin, Manitoba, Golden Knights television colorman, the Sheriff Shane Hnidy. When we come back, we're live all across Canada on the Game Plus television network. We're also live streaming on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness.
Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
It is the RP Show live from beautiful South Florida, hot and steamy. And so here last night in Sunrise, Sergei Bobrovsky made 31 saves as Florida ended the Vegas Golden Knights' 3-game win streak, beating Vegas 2-1. At FLA Live Arena, my good friend Shane Hnidy called it. The veteran of 550 NHL games, Stanley Cup champion with the Boston Bruins, pride of Neepawa, Manitoba. Nides, welcome back to the program. How's your Florida stay been, bud, aside from the game last night?
Yeah, that was probably the down part of it. No, it's always great to be in Florida. The weather's been a little cool out in Vegas, so it's kind of a crazy long trip, a long road trip, 5 games for the team, but I'm enjoying the sunshine while I can.
Awesome, man. Well, and protecting that voice, too. Listen, Nides, it was not the Knights' best effort last night. The Panthers were very excited with their effort. What did you think of Vegas, what they came forth with?
It's kind of becoming too much of a common theme for this team. I know they've been good 9-2-2 since the break. Been up top of the West, kind of turned things around. Going into the All-Star break, things weren't good, but the common thread has kind of been their starts, just slow. A first period, without Aiden Hill last night, it could have been a lot worse. It's similar to his last start when they played New Jersey. They weren't very good as well. So for this team, and they've talked about, Bruce Cassidy's mentioned that, this time of the year, you're building to the game you want to have in playoffs. They aren't there yet. There's too many gaps in their game, and certainly you're not going to dominate a 60-minute. The other team's trying to win too, but not a good enough start last night. You go to the game before that, Montreal up 3-0. They had 2 3-goal leads, and ended up being a 1-goal game. So there's sleepy parts to their game. I think he used the word casual. They've got to be more mindful of situational hockey. And I think that's something they got to build on. All that said, it's a lot easier to kind of build on it when you've been playing good and try and correct those areas of your game.
You know, the last time you were on, now that I think about it, was a year ago, and the Knights were on their way to missing the playoffs, and you brought up the injuries, and you said, hey, take Gaudreau and Kachuk off the Flames. What would they do? And I never forgot that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But you still got injuries this year. Are you like, what's the change from a year ago?
Well, the change, I think, is they haven't had that third wave. So you get injuries, you get those early ones, then you get some big ones, and then what happened is they had more injuries at the end of your Riley Smith, Mark Stone. Stone's out again now, of course, but you got a healthy Jack Eichel. You've got, and last year heading into the All-Star break, let's not forget, they were in first place. And then they got hammered with that third wave, if you want to call it third wave, of injuries and then missed playoffs. So this year they've been able to come out of that break, and I think you learn from the past, and they certainly did. They came out of the break motivated and have played well. Yeah, they had Mark Stone out. Outside of him, they didn't have anybody. Logan Thompson, of course, got hurt right after the All-Star break. But Aiden Hill's played excellent. Laurent Brossoit, who finally got an opportunity, who was probably their most seasoned goaltender at the start of the year between Hill, Thompson, and Brossoit, finally came in, played excellent in 3 games. Then he got injured. So, of course, that forced them to make a move at the deadline when they got Jonathan Quick after a shocking trade. As he went to Columbus, they were able to bring him in. So, as long as they don't get hit with any more, I think, it's now a deep team. They made some additions at the deadline that helped. Barbashev was a great pickup, especially now with the injury to Will Carey, who's having a career year.
And that's the thing. Watching the Golden Knights last night, you still got the Riley Smiths, the Marchessault, Shea Theodore, Pietrangelo, the big pickup. He wasn't a day oneer, but he's been there a while. Do the Knights still have that same culture from year one, or has it evolved over time, Shane?
I think they lost a bit of it. Actually, Jonathan Marchessault was asked this question, I believe, yesterday morning before the game. And he said the chemistry in the room is back to close to what year one was. I don't think you can ever replicate that. That's impossible because it was such a unique scenario with everything that went in, the emotion that was tied to Vegas at that time, starting the season. Of course, there was tragedy involved. We all know. I don't need to bring it up, and then the magical run they had with all these guys who were thrown together, chips on the shoulder, whatever you want to call it, proving people wrong. And it was just, it was surreal in a sense. I know, when will we ever see an inaugural team in pro sports go to the final in year one? I don't know it'll happen. But that said, he said, yes, Jonathan Marchessault mentioned that the chemistry, how close this room is, the additions they had were seamless. I think it helps when, Guy Barbashev won a cup with Pietrangelo. When you win a cup with somebody, you're bonded for life. So that's an easy transition. I think Jonathan Quick, Martinez, McNabb, John Stevens, the assistant coach. And then Teddy Bluger, I think, was just a real kind of, solidifies that kind of fourth line, a guy you can plug and play. Very maybe undervalued for his defensive game he has as, a fourth line center, great penalty killer, one of the best in the NHL analytically. So that chemistry, and I'm a big proponent of it. I think it's so key if you want to be a successful team.
It's funny when people talk about the expansion draft rules being bent or so that Vegas could benefit. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but I mean, aside from Flower, and if you can only protect one goalie, you're going to get one good one. Knights, it was a bunch of no-names. Derek Englund, really? Come on. Who was Carlson? Who was Riley Smith? Who were these guys? They became very special guys. But do you get insulted when you hear that expansion draft thing? I do, and I don't even work for the team.
I think I laugh still when people say that, because I remember even after the team was picked and the words, and hockey wasn't going to work in Vegas. This team's not going to win a game, and everything said. But you're exactly right. Like those guys that came in, the names, and a lot of them got paid because of the success. You go to Colin Miller, Nate Schmidt, guys like this that have gone to other teams. Have they been superstars there? No, but they came in and this magical thing happened where they got rewarded for it and had, like careers that are, incredible. Eric Howell had 29 goals. Carl won't score 29 again. Good player. Carlson, terrific player who brings it every night. 43 goals. I hope he can do it again. I doubt it. He's probably around that 15 to 20 goal guy. So there was just so many things that happened that year that it came together. It was a group of guys, and not many of them we talk about superstars. I think, Jonathan Marshall, maybe the most consistent, Riley Smith. Those guys have continued to perform at what they did that year one. But a lot of those guys who have went on, individual performance has not lived up to that year one.
Vegas Golden Knights broadcaster Shane Hnidy, who is with us here in hour one of the program. I got to ask you, will we ever definitively be able to say who won the Jack Eichel trade? Because I'm watching him last night here in Sunrise. Yeah, can't take your eyes off him, but he's a little bit of high risk, or at least he was at times last night. I mean, will we ever be able to say who won that deal?
I think it's still too early. I think, they're both young players. Look at what Alex Tuch, he's having a career year. I know he's injured now, and that's kind of been a thing for him in the past at times, and Peyton Krebs part of that deal as well. Where and what will he become? I will say this, Jack Eichel's, on a day-to-day basis, one of the most skilled hockey players I've ever watched. And I think people have to sit back and say, everybody develops on a different curve. This is kind of his first full season of hockey in three years coming back. So he's missed a bunch of time. Then add on to that, he's got to learn to play a certain way. He's still young and learning the game. I think there's the potential's, off the charts. His ability, his speed, his skill. And he has, what I like about him, he's competitive. Bruce Cassidy's talked a lot of times, and last night's a tough game to evaluate. He's been one of their best defensive forwards because of his ability to come back, and he's bought into defending. So he's got to put it together. I think it's timing. I think for shooting, he's got a little more confidence in his shot because he's got a great release. I just think it's him learning those habits of the game that are going to take him. He has another level to get to, no question. I think he'll get there. So I think it's still too early to evaluate the trade, but I think for both teams, they won. They're both happy with the way it's turned out. Alex Tuch's been a great fit on the wing. Golden Knights needed a legit number one center, and that's what they got.
Lastly, Knights, we only got 2 minutes, but John Ohm in Winnipeg. We got a lot of questions and comments have come in, but he says, "Oh, Shane, yeah, baby, best dressed man in the business." I do like your thread, Knights. You did pick up some style after our time in PA together, but I got to say this. We had an alumni event down here All-Star Week, and Paul Healy played in it. It was Panthers alumni versus NHL alumni, and Heels was in it. And I was speaking at a banquet in Shelbrook a few years ago, and they said, who was on the Raiders when you were doing the games? And I was like, Steve Kelly, Paul Healy, David Van Drunen, Russell Hogue, Shane Hnidy. And it was like maybe they'd know Dennis Pedersen, maybe Shane Toporowski, but it seems like so long ago. What a special group, Knights.
It really was. Great guys, and it's funny. I think it was about a year ago in Vegas. Out of the random, I got a text. Shane Zeliniak, Zinger, and he wanted to come. And he was a little before, early on. That was when we had 4 Shanes. Shane Zeliniak, Shane Toporowski, Shane Hnidy, and Shane Willis. I should have asked you to name him.
Yeah.
Another guy who played Carolina, still there doing TV. So, yeah, it was a special group, special time. And, there's some regret there. We were so close. We had such a good team for a couple of years and falling short. That's one of the things that, as you look back in parts of your career at different levels, couldn't get past those Wheat Kings. And don't worry, I let Kelly McCrimmon know every now and then. Yeah, it was tough, but yeah, we had a great group and great times, memories. You talk about my threads. We didn't need threads then. We just rolled up whatever we had, put it in the top of the bus, drive for 14 hours, whatever, and unroll it, put it on.
I sat beside Greg Harvey for 2 weeks. He took one shirt.
Harves.
2 weeks on the West Coast road trip. Are you kidding me?
I loved him.
Yeah, well, at least you're on
good man.
Pride of Defo, Saskatchewan. But at least you're on Crim's side now, because with the trade with Jonathan Quick, I said, congratulations, LA. You've just been McCrimmoned. what happened to us in the 90s every year. Anyways, Nides, I always appreciate it. I'll let you go enjoy the day. Thanks for fitting us in, pal.
I'm happy to be on, and anytime you need me, Roddy. Good to talk, and all the best, bud.
Thanks, bud. Same to you. The great Shane Hnidy, Vegas Golden Knights TV color commentator. We'll be right back with Sports Update. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, iHeartRadio, and WQEE The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
The studio is in South Florida, and we will do viewer and listener takeover here. A comment from John Ohm. Says, great interview, Rod. Love 90. LOL, one shirt. Smelly. That's a fact. Next hour, let's get into some road trip stories when the Moose rejoins. But I'm going to tell you right now, and Moose knows the guy I was talking about, Greg Harvey. He was one of our about 6 fighters And 2 weeks on a bus. I was the rookie radio guy. I was 20. Hnidy thought I was old. He was 18. And Greg Harvey had his dress shirt and tie all done up in a backpack between his legs and one toothbrush. Well, we only need one toothbrush, but my point is he wore a tracksuit and that dress shirt, and when he took the shirt off, he just scrumpled it up and put it in the bag. 2 weeks, never washed it, and then he put the toothbrush right here in the shirt pocket. Yeah. All on that team that Shane Hnidy was on. Jake Hughes writing in. He says, it's been a few days, but hello, RP Show. Missed your faces. Missed yours, Jake. Hope things are going great with the Hughes Sports Podcast. They focus on the Vancouver Canucks and a little of the BC Lions. Oh, boy, bear with me while I get the sports update here, everybody. I'm telling you, it's sad. I went up to speak in Shelbrook, the home of Terry Simpson. Anybody know who he is? Winningest coach in Prince Albert Raiders history, former coach of the New York Islanders. I spoke at his town, and the questions from the crowd came, Rod, who was on the Raiders when you were doing the games? 93 to 95. And I rattled off these names, and they just stared at me blankly. I'm like, how do you not remember? It's the closest team to your town, but people forget. It's important that we bring this stuff up. Speaking of all of that, from Sports Update, two of the best junior hockey teams in the country, both focused on winning the Memorial Cup this spring, had to settle their differences in a shootout Tuesday night in Seattle. Shootout goals by Caden Bankier and Matthew Semenoff gave the Kamloops Blazers a 3-2 victory at Seattle in what could be a playoff preview down the road. In Winnipeg, Matthew Savoy had a goal and a helper as the Winnipeg Ice edged the visiting Medicine Hat Tigers 3-1. And in Prince Albert, Nolan Ritchie's goal at 15:33 of the second period proved to be the winner as the visiting Brandon Wheat Kings knocked off the Prince Albert Raiders 4-3. This sports update is for Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, get this one, Scream 6. Following the latest ghost face killings, the 4 survivors leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter. In Scream 6, Melissa Barrera, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Jenna Ortega, Hayden Panettiere, and Courtney Cox return to their roles in the franchise alongside Jack Champion, Harry Zerny, Liana Liberato, Dermot Mulrooney, Devin Nakota, Tony Revoluri, and a bunch of other people that I've never heard of. Scream 6 in Landmark Cinemas now. Check it out. I know there's a lot of people very excited to go. And I will be watching it when I get back to Canada. Interesting. Jason in Red Deer writes in and says, the Rebels can clinch first division title in 10 years tonight if they win. I didn't write down the dub games. We'll get into it next hour. Last minute of play in hour 1. Jake says it's going to be a ton more BC Lions on their podcast this summer. Super excited for the CFL season this year. Awesome, as are we. I wanted to get into this with Moose earlier, and every day in the NHL game notes, we don't have time to do it here, but they tell, actually it's about once a week, they tell a story of some guy's weird road to the NHL. And today's was Thatcher Demko. He's one of only 3 California-born goalies in the National Hockey League history. 3 only from California. Thatcher Demko's one. We'll talk about the other 2. Can you guess them in the break? Hour 2 coming up after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE. So NFL, NHL, baseball, Blue Jays, all coming up after this.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Who's the Bucks quarterback if it's not Tom Brady? Which it's not Tom Brady. Tom's retired. I don't understand why there's no talk about that. So Ryan in New York, he says, right now, the Buccaneers quarterback depth chart is Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. I suspect they'll be shopping for a quarterback in free agency, because if they don't, yikes.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's hour 2 of your favorite sports talk show, daytime sports talk show, however you're consuming the program. We're live on Game Plus, iHeartRadio, and WQEE The Key. What's popping down there in Newton, Georgia? Metro Atlanta. Ryan, you said the Moose is in and he's good to go. Can we bring him in?
Bingo!
I wonder why I wonder why we're in this time in society where people are so big into time wasting. And probably 8, 10, maybe 12 years ago, I really gave up on the time wasting. I think it's when I left my 30s. But the reason I talk about wasting the time, Darren, is the people on Twitter. I saw this today. It was fun for about 10 seconds. Somebody tweeted, 2 cities, your 2 top picks for cities for NHL expansion teams, and go. And I'm like, the first 2 in my head, Atlanta, Houston, boom, done. Why would I spend any more than 60 seconds on this? But do you know, if you spend less time on social media and goofing off, you can get a lot of positive things done with your life. I'd rather do that. I'd rather be productive with my time than sit around and talk about stuff that's never going to come to fruition. Yeah, Atlanta and Houston. What do you think, Ryan O'Radio? Should we give the Peach State another chance, 3rd time, or not? What are yours, Moose?
Houston and Kansas City would be my 2.
How about that?
I think.
Why not Atlanta?
I think Atlanta would be great.
What do you have against Atlanta?
It'd be very intriguing to go to Atlanta. Very intriguing. But I like just the idea of new markets. That's why I put Houston and Kansas City in front of Atlanta and Quebec City, although both of those, all 4 would be good options.
Well, it's good to stretch your brain, ways of thinking. Swerve in Calgary says Houston and Quebec City. I've got a guy, a really good friend of mine. Everybody knows him, NHL record holder, who has told me why they'll never go to Quebec City. Biggest reason being taxes. I'm laughing because Serena and I got in what could have been a real heated argument, but we agreed to just escalate things, and it's not that important. It was about this NHL program. How did I get so off track? But I think people are going to enjoy this. The NHL is announcing a road hockey program all over America. She thinks it's a dumb idea. And when she comes on tomorrow, she can tell you why. But I kind of get a little annoyed because in a way, I'm a lot like my dad, way, way, way too far ahead of my time, to the point that people think that I'm crazy. So what could possibly be wrong with having kids across America play road hockey? Like what? And I'm not going to speak for her, but it escalated fast. And we're just, why are we arguing? But when I was in Arizona, hanging around the Coyotes, meeting with them, I pitched the idea of a road hockey program in the Valley, the Arizona Valley. And I said, have the Coyotes sponsor it, and da-da-da-da. And one of the top executives said that's a dumb idea. Why? Dumb. And I said, well, if you think it's dumb, why even pursue it? And now, 8 years later, the NHL's doing it. It's like I begged the Rough Riders for years to put coaches and personnel on in the offseason to keep the team's profile up on my radio show. No, you're bothering us, Rod. No, it's the offseason. No. Now they're doing it. You know what I mean? So,
well, pretty simple. Yeah. Like, how many outdoor rinks are there in Phoenix and Vegas and Tampa Bay and Florida and Dallas and Houston if you want to go there, and, San Jose, LA, Anaheim? Like, you need to get opportunities for kids to be part of the game, playing the game. It makes sense. But anyways, what do we know?
Yeah, well, again, John, yeah, exactly. John, he says, I can't wait to hear her thoughts on road hockey. Yeah. It was a discussion. I don't see how that could possibly be a bad thing. Jen at the Four Seasons says, if Atlanta gets another team, they will make Arizona look great when Atlanta folds again for the third time. Oh, Jennifer, she's a firecracker. Ted in Red Deer says Atlanta would be a great choice now that there are more southern teams. Houston out west for us. For sure, move the Coyotes. I think he's saying the Coyotes will move to Houston. If the choice is Atlanta or Quebec City or Atlanta or Saskatoon, I'm going to take Atlanta every time. Population, and I guess that's the other thing is, she's pro-Canada when it comes to the NHL. And the thing is, look at what the CFL struggles. If the NHL focused on Canada, we're pretty tapped out in Canada.
Yeah.
Financially. And that's what you want to know why Connor McDavid's making $12 million a year. And these guys, it's because of U.S. expansion. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. And that reminds me. Holy smokes, it took me 6 minutes to come back around on this circle. The three goalies from, I know I don't believe read the NHL media site like I do, but there was a great story here. But once a week, they talk about some player who took a very circuitous, odd path to the NHL. And Thatcher Demko was this week's. And we all know him, starting goalie for the Vancouver Canucks, right? And it's only in a paragraph. It says Thatcher Demko took an unusual route to the NHL, which involved moving away from home multiple times during his youth. Demko, one of three California-born goalies to play in the NHL, grew up in San Diego, moved to live with a billet family near L.A. at a young age to join the Kings minor hockey program, then was recruited by the Omaha Lancers of the USHL in Nebraska. His mom did not want to let her son move away from home. But Demko convinced his parents that he had to. These opportunities are rare for kids from California. He's the Canucks' 36th overall draft pick in 2014 and now part of a growing group of hockey players from the Golden State. I knew that John Ohm would be the only guy that would be able to find the other two goalies from California. For the life of me, nobody would be able to come up with it. I don't think anybody other than Vancouver, because it's the other Canucks goalie, Colin Dealey, is from California. And then John Blue. Not even a household name. In his own house. John Blue. Born in 1966 from Huntington Beach, California. He was the first goalie from California to play in the National Hockey League, and he was drafted by the Winnipeg Jets. Does anybody remember him in Winnipeg? In 1986, John Blue. How
when you
about
first
that?
said it, I thought you said John Lou. And I'm like, wait a second. John Lou's a
Wouldn't that
household
be
name?
something?
Yeah,
Well,
no idea.
And Ryan in Saratoga, New York, wrote in, and he says, if memory serves, isn't Spencer Knight from California? No, he's from Connecticut, the Florida Panthers goalie. But you're thinking of Dustin Wolf, the other Team USA World Junior goaltender, who's from Tustin, California, and will become the fourth goalie to ever play in the National Hockey League. The fourth. I knew one, and I told her that I would tell this story on the air really quickly. You, as a longtime fan of God's team, Moose, the Regina Pats, would remember a guy by the name of Tommy Tartaglione. He played on the Pats with your best buddy from Wynyard, Brett Leffler, right?
Yep.
You remember Tommy? He's from L.A. And he said reason he got playing hockey was because of Wayne Gretzky and the L.A. Kings. So anyways, Tommy was good. He's not that good. I think he's now coaching minor hockey in Southern California, but he was playing with the Regina Pats, and his mom came up to spend a weekend, parents' weekend. I think it might have been when that started, like 20 years ago. And it was our sportsman's dinner, our sports banquet. And Barry Melrose was the guest speaker, and it was minus 52 Celsius. And as I often say now to my American friends, it don't matter Fahrenheit or Celsius when it gets into minus 52. It's damn cold. You go outside, you'll die within 30 seconds. She thought she was going to die. And she's like, love you, Tommy, but I'm going home. I don't think she stayed to the end of the weekend, to be honest with you. And I'll also never forget Barry Melrose speaking on the mic. He's like, hey, do you guys not heard about global warming in Saskatchewan? Jeez. It was so bad. Anyways, from WQEE Rock, Ryan O'Radio, he says Atlanta would be the perfect place. And WQEE has the only real NHL show, the RP show. How about this guy, Ryan O'Radio? He knows how to promo stuff. Atlanta's only NHL show, the RP show. I like the
He knows how to butter you up.
No. I think he means what he's talking about. Right, Ryan O'Radio? Let's do it. Atlanta's only NHL show. Wait till they get a team, man. We're going to be, again, so far ahead of the curve. Right? Get out of here with your Falcons. What have they ever won? Get out of here with your Braves. What have they ever won? Oops. Maybe I went a little too far on that. Again, the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, speaking of baseball, where do you think the Toronto Blue Jays will finish in the American League East this year? Last year, you people voted for third. That's what won the poll. Third, you people. And they ended up finishing second. So I have not looked, Moose, but Clark, what's leading now on YouTube? Where will the Blue Jays finish? 50, thank you. 55% saying second. It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way, Moose. So please visualize a positive outcome.
Beautiful.
But enjoy your journey on the way there. 42% on Twitter saying second place for the Toronto Blue Jays. Moose and I have both voted for first. Clark, what are you voting? He's saying second. Well, we're voting for first. Moose and I are voting for first. But he's saying second place. He's more of a realist, and he's a baseball guy. Don't come here for your insider baseball information and analysis, by the way, folks. It would be like asking Adam Schefter his thoughts on cricket. It's not what we do. Doesn't mean we can't cheer for them. Right, Moose? Darcy Federico texting in on the 902 line. He's in Grand Prairie. And he says the Blue Jays will win 100 games and be the best team in baseball if they add Trevor Bauer. This is the Trevor Bauer guy.
Hot take.
From Dave in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Are you guys getting this? Are you writing this down? Viewers all the way from Grand Prairie, Alberta to Niagara Falls, Ontario. Dave says, hey, guys, my girlfriend says she loves your shirt today. Go Argos. I can only assume she's talking about me.
Of course.
From Perry, he's watching in Prince Albert. He says, Raider powerhouse back in Terry Simpson's days. We got into some old PA Raider stories with Shane Hnidy last hour. And Perry says, why? Clearly, Perry remembers me as my time of as the Prince Albert Raiders. He's written in and says, why are you spending so much time in South Florida? Well, Perry, it's a thing called Nunya. Nunya business. He's a little late to the party, Moose.
Doesn't he see your shirt?
Should we tell him?
Can he see the
Should
tan?
we tell him?
Yeah.
Florida Panthers fan now. This is an official Alexander Barkov bobblehead. You can't buy these in stores. The scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Blue Jays, Moose?
I'm about a 7 right now. I'm about a 7. Especially, we're getting a little more talk on this program about the Jays getting a little more excited for it. Yeah. I'm about a 7. But when the calendar flips into April, we get set for opening day. I guess it's March 30th, I think, is opening day. Then I'll be excited. The days leading up to opening day, I'll be a 10.
Weird. You and I are on the same page today, and it's scaring me because that's not the norm. I would say 7 out of 10 as well. And it will ratchet up for sure. We'll be following how they do every day, but I'm not going to watch every game. I can't watch a full hockey game for 60 minutes. That's just my attention span thing. So don't expect me to watch every Blue Jays. Ted in Red Deer says, I'm not sure where the Blue Jays will finish, but it ain't first. Yankees all the way. I can really see why everybody hates the Yankees, which when you think about it, they probably sit back and laugh about it.
I know.
It's hard not to like Aaron Judge. Hard not to like Aaron Judge. Josh Donaldson, as every year goes on, I like him less. But we sure loved him when he was a Blue Jay. And that's something. Oh. Jeff in Winnipeg says, even though I'm a Red Sox fan, I do like the Atlanta Braves as my National League team. Yeah, people are starting to get fired up. Ranking sports popularity in Canada, just for those that know, and I love this. We're the official NHL show on WQEE. I love it, Moose. Can you make a promo out of that? It's hockey, 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 hockey. Football? Baseball? Basketball? Lacrosse? Again, hockey, hockey, hockey. Football, baseball, basketball. And so that's the thing that people don't understand. People think, we'll break and we'll continue this. Everybody, we're having a good one today. We're in one. 902-518-3033, the number to text us here in the studio. YouTube as well. On the way, Alan May, Washington Capitals analyst. It's daytime sports talk on Game Plus TV, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, the key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
I'm Bridget Laquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Yeah, how about that? You know, when the Bet Regal robe comes out, we're going to be talking NHL top 5, bottom 5, and that's coming up. But first, a sports update, and then we'll bring the Moose back in. The Winnipeg Jets host the Minnesota Wild in one of only 3 games in the NHL tonight. The Jets have just 2 wins in the last 10 games and are clinging to the final wild card spot in the West. The Wild fell 1-0 to the Calgary Flames in a shootout last night, but haven't lost in regulation since dropping a 3-2 decision to Colorado on February 15th. Elsewhere tonight, the Vancouver Canucks host the Anaheim Ducks, and the Chicago Blackhawks visit Detroit. Toronto Raptors 5-game roadie continues tonight against the Clippers. They're 1-2 so far on the road, following Monday's 118-113 loss in Denver. The Atlanta Hawks, by the way, are in Washington tonight, and the 20-team World Baseball Classic got underway after a 6-year absence, with the Netherlands defeating Cuba 4-2 in a Group A game this morning in Taiwan. The USA won the last event in 2017. Canada plays its first game Sunday against Great Britain in Phoenix. This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas, in theaters now. John Wick, starring Keanu Reeves, of course, takes on his most lethal adversaries yet in the upcoming 4th installment of the series. With the price on his head ever increasing, John Wick takes his fight against the high table global as he seeks out the most powerful players in the underworld, from New York to Paris to Osaka to Berlin. John Wick Chapter 4 in Landmark Cinemas now. Darren Moose DuPont joins us here in segment 2. On the way, Alan May, Washington Capitals TV analyst. It's time for the NHL Top 5, Bottom 5. Are you ready, Moose? Let's go. I'm assuming that you are the number one team. This is easy. It's the Boston Bruins. 10 wins in a row. And a godlike 105 plus-minus goal differential. That's double the next best team, Carolina, at plus 58. Number 2 is those Carolina Hurricanes. They just won't go away. The winners of 3 in a row. Number 3, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They beat the New Jersey Devils in a clash of the Titans just last night. And really, the Leafs are just waiting for the playoffs and for Factor to get healthy. Number 4, the Los Angeles Kings. I don't want to talk about anybody else in the Western Conference. The Kings, don't look now. They've won 4 in a row, and they got something to prove, too. And the number 5 team in the National Hockey League is the New Jersey Devils. Still the surprise team of the season so far. That's the top 5 honorable mentions to, of course, the Vegas Golden Knights. But they lost and were terrible here last night. Seattle's won 5 in a row, but they didn't make the top 5. Bottom 5, number 28, the Montreal Canadiens. They've lost 4 in a row. Call Tom Cochran. They're sinking like a sunset. The 29th team, the Anaheim Ducks. They're going to be better next year. But for now, yeesh. 30th team in the National Hockey League, third worst, the Chicago Blackhawks. Hard to figure out what they're doing at all. Second worst teams, the San Jose Sharks. Officially the coldest team in the NHL right now. They've only won 2 of their last 10 games. And the worst team, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They've lost 3 in a row, including blowing a 4-0 lead in Pittsburgh last night and losing in overtime. They're officially the worst team in the National Hockey League. There's your top 5, bottom 5 for Bet Regal Moose. And I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I got your Leafs third, as I mentioned. I don't know. Kings is the only team from the West. There's a lot of good teams right now, though, down the home stretch in the National Hockey League.
The Detroit Red Wings, honorable mention in your bottom 5. They've lost 6 in a row and are sinking to, again, which is, I mean, what they want. I mean, get closer to the high draft pick. But you nailed it with the honorable mentions. I was wondering if you would put Seattle as an honorable mention or if they would sneak in with the streak that they're on again. They're a team that can get really hot, and they have gotten hot again. So, no, I concur with the top 5, bottom 5.
Alexander Vasiliev writes in, there's no way that can't be the Alexander Vasiliev. He just written in and said, hi, first time here. Long-time listener, first-time texter. Hi, Alexander. Welcome. I was thinking about this the other day. This is the show unlike any other. What a great time to tune in for the first time. The host is wearing a king's robe. Jeff in Winnipeg says, Rod needs a crown. I don't know where it is, bro. I don't know where the crown is. How long? It's shipped 2 months ago. I'm just happy my Tough Tribe for Men showed up.
Yes.
But I don't know where the crown is. You got the tracking number on that crown, Moose, or do I need to go to Burger King and get a paper one?
Yeah, I don't have tracking number on it. You might have to go to Burger King or get out the construction paper and scissors. We used to do that in elementary school.
Okay. Alexander wants to know, and I appreciate what a nice young lad Alexander is. He says, what's wrong with Columbus? Will they become one of the best teams someday? Well, we've only been waiting 22 years for that. And no, what's wrong with them? Listen, something's wrong with them, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets because they don't even care about the Blue Jackets in Columbus, let alone everywhere else. But I've watched them play live a few times this year. They should be better than they are. And I love Brad Larson. He's a former Swift Arm Bronco. He's the head coach. I don't know what's going on because I'm not anywhere near Columbus and don't want to be. If it's a culture thing, I don't feel like it's a talent thing. Which, incidentally, who's their goalie going to be? You hockey people that are... You got rid of Eunice Corpusalo. You got rid of James Quick. Jonathan Quick. Not James Quick Parker. The former BC Lions defensive lineman. Jonathan Quick. Goes with age. Stacy in Access World Headquarters writes in and says, does Rod parade around the mean streets of Florida at night with that outfit? You know, I don't. And actually, I'm going to take it off because it is dang hot. Remember, well, actually, you wouldn't remember because you weren't in the IKS studio when I was there last week or 2 weeks ago. It was cold in there. It was minus 38 outside. That robe's warm.
Yeah.
Might have to throw it in the wash because I'm dripping sweat with it. But anyways, no, I'm not like John Lynch, who runs around outside without his jacket done up in the wintertime. No, I don't do that. But I will say this, interesting, learning a new place, a new culture, new people. Do you remember when I was telling you I went to a preseason NFL game here late August last year, Eagles and Dolphins? The Dolphins scored a team record for points. I think they hung it 48 on the Eagles that day. When I came home, it was after midnight, like 1 a.m., and there were people out walking in the streets. I'm never out after midnight, right? So I was like, what the hell's all these people doing out here? So hot in August, you can't walk during the day.
Yeah.
So they walk
you go out at night. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I get it. I can't. And so, I mean, please tell us the tales of it's finally cool enough to get outside after dark. I'll tell you, back here in the sweatpants capital, the snowbanks are 8 feet high, literally 8 feet high.
Jennifer, by the way, regarding our bottom five, she says, bad for Bedard. That's actually not bad. Darren Dreger came up with that from TSN, right? Way to go, Dregs, the pride of Langenberg Sask. How could nobody come up with something better or come up with that first? It took Dregs.
Yeah.
I kind of like the crap the bed ard, but that didn't catch on.
Damn.
Alexander, listen, I get it. Alexander, are you in Columbus, Ohio, where we air on Buckeye Cable all across the Buckeye State? He says, can money be the problem of Columbus? No, it can't. Go look at their payroll right now. They got enough money. Money's a problem in Arizona where they're paying over half their salary cap to players that aren't even there. Arizona deserves to be back. Listen, I'm not the Dr. Phil of hockey. I don't know what's wrong with the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're a talented team that plays bad. I'm not getting annoyed with you, Alexander. We don't like to argue with our audience, but I don't know what's wrong with them. Everybody knows that they should be better. Nobody can figure it out. Jake in Airdrie says the Vancouver Canucks should be on the bottom 6, but not because of performance. They just keep doing this at the end of every season, winning streaks to get to the middle of the pack. Jake, we talked about that yesterday, by the way, for the benefit of those watching all across BC, Vancouver fans on TELUS Channel 924, Game Plus. Is Rick Tocchet going to be your guy? How do you feel about Rick Tocchet moving forward? And don't say to me, well, he's our coach. He has to be. We just give him a multi-year contract. Clearly, they don't care about that in Vancouver. They're already still paying Travis Green, let alone Bruce Boudreau. With money, forget about it. Canucks ownership wipes their brow with money. How do we feel about Rick Tocchet as the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks moving forward? Like, Darren, where's a team? Put your thinking cap on for a second. I can think of one in the NFL where a coach went in and just magically changed the culture of what we all thought was a real bad culture. Doug Pedersen, Jacksonville Jaguars comes to mind immediately. And how he didn't win Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
Went to Dayball, right, with the Giants. Giants didn't host a playoff. They did. Where is a team that a coach went in and turned it around? It's pretty rare, man.
It is. I would say, in the NHL, Rick Bowness has done that in Winnipeg, but now all of a sudden they're concerned as they sink out from being in first place in the Western Conference to now kind of hanging on to a playoff spot, and might be one of the teams that if somebody was going to fall out, people are talking about Winnipeg. So opportunity there. I think Bowness has done that. Not quite what Doug Pedersen did in Jacksonville. I mean, that team was bad.
Yes.
And they went
for
to the playoffs,
decades.
Yeah, for a while. So Rick Bowness kind of did that just on the 1-year flip in Winnipeg. Bruce Cassidy, right? There's been a couple, but not to that extent. I agree.
By the way, I'm going to put these questions to our next guest, Alan May, who will join us from Washington. And here are a couple, like Alexander. I love the kid from Columbus writing in, but this isn't Blue Jackets television here. But he says, another question: what do you guys think about Bobrovsky in Florida this season? They paid him $10 million. Is he playing for that? Last night, I think it was 32 saves. He backstopped them to the win. So yeah, we're Bob fans here. Two-time Vezina Award winner. And Jake says, do you believe the NHL will or should look into the cap retention trades? That's that Arizona thing where over half of their salary cap's going to players that aren't even there. I don't think they will. No, they didn't look into Tampa Bay circumventing the salary cap for the playoffs 2 years ago when they won the Stanley Cup. If GMs can find a way to circumvent the rules, that's everybody else's problem. No, it looks bad, but I don't think they will. But we'll put that to Alan May. Moose, are you coming back for overtime?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay. Alan May, our good friend from NBC Sports Network, Washington, joins us next to answer mine and your questions. Stick around. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV. We are Atlanta's NHL show as well, y'all, on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, the key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150-plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I like the sound of it. Atlanta's NHL show, the RP show on WQEE and Game Plus. We're talking NHL, and I will get to your questions of Alan May next. Let's bring him in now from NBC Sports, Washington Capitals TV analyst. He of 393 NHL games, Edmonton product. Alan, always great to see your smiling face. And you heard what those questions were. I want to start with your Capitals, man. What's the outlook from your perspective in this stretch drive here? What's the expectation?
Well, the expectation to me is that it's a really difficult road right now. With 17 games left, they've got 68 points. They have 11 games left against playoff teams. They've got some really important games, 3 against the New York Islanders. And again, there's 6 teams fighting for those 2 wild card spots, and they play Buffalo and Florida as well. So there's 5 games against teams they're battling with in the wild card. I might have missed a Pittsburgh game in there. It could be number 6. But when you look at that, it's a really tough road. And they're at the bottom looking at the top. And the Islanders right now are at the top. And I think they have the second easiest path on the island. They've got the fewest games left. They've got 74 points, so they're in that first wild card spot. They've got 7 playoff games left, and they've got 3 games against Washington, 1 against Buffalo, for the teams that they're battling with to get one of the 2 wild cards. So Washington's in it real tough. The team has been decimated by injuries. So if they get in, and it's an absolute miracle on miracles because they've had so many injuries.
Well, I know they're playing hard, but they kind of remind me of Nashville and St. Louis. They dealt away some pretty big pieces at the deadline. So I kind of thought that's waving the flag. The players are never going to do that. But was that not a signal that this just ain't going to be our year?
Well, their do or die week, they went and lost 6 games. And Ovi wasn't here. His father passed away. He went back to Russia. You haven't had John Carlson. The record's horrible without Carly in the lineup. And then they had to weigh, what they could get. Orlov wanted the max contract. I'm not sure the exact dollars, but it was a lot. And it was way too much for a player of his age. They get a first rounder for him, a second rounder and a third rounder for him and Hathaway. And, they just had to, really be honest. A lot of teams aren't honest, and they make these crazy trades. They sell the future, and they're out in the first round. I don't think the Caps could afford to throw first and second rounders of their own and be depleted in the next few drafts. And all of a sudden, what if you get another key injury, and then all of a sudden you just, not that you're tanking, but you're losing every game along the way. And, they work hard, they try hard, but right now in their lineup, their number 1 defenseman is Rasmus Sandin because of the amount of injuries. He was number 5 in Toronto. He was number 5 because he's younger, but a really good hockey player. He's got 5 points in 2 games. Granted, one of those games was against a 3-assist game against San Jose, and then the other night against the toughest team to play in the Western Conference, in my opinion, the LA Kings. The Caps didn't fare so well. He still picked up a goal and assist in that one. But, you're looking at the other night, we had 4 players, I think four defensemen, 23 and under in the lineup. Not a lot of experience. And I think it makes it awfully tough to win. I don't know where they're going to be at tomorrow night when they face the New Jersey Devils here at home.
Well, it looks to me like Jeff Pearson will be buying me a tower pizza because our bet was my Panthers or his and your Capitals into the playoffs. And I like the way the Panthers looked last night against Vegas big time. They won here 2-1. You heard some of the questions from the viewers. One is that Arizona cap situation. Over half of their salary cap's going to players that aren't there. How do you feel about that? And should the league step in on that?
I don't like the fact that they've done it for so long. I could get if they did it 1 or 2 years, but I feel like it's been going on since the salary cap started. So to me, it's kind of an abuse the way they've been doing it. And I don't know what the right rules are, but you're trying to buy time to get that franchise into a brand new arena in a better location than where they were. And I look at every team in the National Hockey League over the last 30 years or so that moved away from their fan base. They hurt their attendance so bad. Ottawa's in the middle of nowhere. They're trying to get a new arena. They got a pretty new arena, but they're in the middle of nowhere. They moved away from downtown, which they had to. I played in that horrible old arena, or maybe it was a good arena for junior hockey, but not for the National Hockey League. I look at the Florida Panthers. They got a beautiful arena in Sunrise, which is kind of a Fort Lauderdale suburb, but they were downtown Miami. It was sold out every game back in the day. But they didn't have all the amenities. And every time a team moves away from their fan base, Tampa had done it at times. Now they're smack dab in the middle of the city. It's easier for everyone to get to. It's a beautiful location. There's lots to do around there. But you've got to build your arena where your fans can get to it. And I think everyone's waiting on Arizona for that to happen. And if it doesn't happen, if they get voted down in the next few months, I see them going right to Houston because they're in the division that they could play against all those teams that they'd have a head-to-head rivalry and a more significant rivalry with the Dallas Stars.
Interestingly enough, 15,100 the attendance for Vegas at the Panthers last night. The Panthers are 24th in the NHL in attendance this year. They're averaging 16,000. Here's the rub on everything that you just said. They're winning here. And I know those fans in Arizona. They're like, the team's been junk since 2012.
Yeah.
Don't tell us the rink's in the wrong place. Like, try winning. That might help, Alan.
Well, it always does help. And the Panthers have had last year, their team was incredible during the regular season. A while back when they signed like 13 free agents and got back into the playoffs, they had a good one-year run there. And I look at them right now. If they can get in the playoffs, I think they can do some damage. Of their 17 games left, they've only got 7 against playoff teams. They've got 1 versus Washington, one versus Buffalo, 2 teams that are also fighting to get in the wild card spot. So their path is there. I don't know what their home away is. Normally I keep track of that, but I could find it soon enough. And you look at them, the Florida Panthers, they haven't always played the most exciting brand of hockey either. They've had a lot of different coaches. I kind of like the run and gun stuff last year. I didn't like all the way they changed their team so drastically. I thought it was a huge mistake, and it's proven to be a mistake by changing that many players out and the style of your team. I think they just needed a few hedges, and maybe it was coaching. I don't know. Maybe they should have kept the coach they had, and he gets a little playoff leather. But the Panthers are in it right till the end. Pittsburgh's only got 9 games left against playoff teams, but they've got 3 more points. They've got 1 game versus Washington, none against any of the other guys. So, Pittsburgh and New York Islanders and the Panthers have the schedule in their favor over all the teams battling for the wild card spot.
I feel like we're sitting over a plate of veal cutlets talking. Just you and me at Fired Up Grill in Estevan. The Panthers, by the way, 18-10 at home, 14-17 on the road. And with Pomo, like around Christmas, he's like, we need to play a defensive style. We need to do that. I'm like, no, not with these guys. You got flash and dashy guys. Yeah, they're doing it, and they're winning, and they've bought in. So, anyways, it's not the Florida Panthers show either. I apologize for that, even though they're now officially my team, Al. Whose trades did you like the most at the deadline? Who did you like?
Well, I thought Toronto made way too many trades. And I've been on 2 teams that brought in too many guys at the deadline, and it didn't work. You end up with disgruntled players wondering whether they're going to be in the lineup. Instead of worrying about if they're going to play, they're going to worry about whether they're getting a jersey and not actually visualizing success on the ice. I think too many players. I look at an old defense. They got rid of one of their 2 young players that they had back there. So I'm not a fan of everything they did. I like what the Rangers did. I think it'll start cooking as they get down the stretch here. But I really like the simple moves in Carolina, which a lot of people don't, and the simple move in Edmonton. And Matthias Ekholm completely changes the look of their team. You look out there, their defensemen are kind of small or kind of very average in height and weight. Ekholm's a beast. He's 6'4", 6'5", can play left or right defense. He can fill in on the power play, but they're not going to do that. He's a killer on the penalty kill, great 5-on-5. You play him against the top checking lines against the other team, and he's durable. So I really like that trade there. They needed to add real defensemen. So you add some size. I believe you have to have size on your defense in the playoffs to go a long way. And, until a team wins with 5 or 6 little guys, you're not going to be able to prove me wrong. Not everyone has a Cale Makar. He's obviously, really, to me, he is the significant factor in Colorado. If he's out of the lineup, they're nowhere close to the same team. They still have all those dynamite forwards, but no one can really wheel the puck up the ice like him. Well, very few. There's 2 guys in the league, 3 guys maybe that can get the puck up the ice, and Cale's the best. But I look at Carolina. They needed a power play guy. Shane Gostisbehere, underappreciated, I think, over the course of his career. They talk about him being just a power play guy. He looks good 5-on-5. Pair him with the right guy. Don't They have a great system in Carolina, and I think he's going to make a huge difference on the power play. Brett Burns is already there, but you lean on him too much, he gets fatigued. And the cannon of a shot for 4-on-3s, 5-on-3s, you've got to get Gostisbehere out there every time. He doesn't look like the biggest guy in the world, but he's got a rifle. So I really like they didn't go and change their entire team. They've got a good thing going. Why ruin it? And you just bring in a couple little pieces to the puzzle, and that's how you win games.
They're really rolling. That is a wonderful analysis. You should be in TV, Al. Hey, I apologize that I missed you at the All-Star week. I really do. I was squiring Rich Sutter around, as you know. But, hey, I hope you had a good time. Seemed like you did.
Well, yeah, we always do. And, it's one of those events where I get paid to eat and socialize. So it was always a good event. We had a lot of corporate partners. And I want to go back to one of your questions I heard. And people are asking about why the Columbus Blue Jackets aren't any good. Can anyone in the National Hockey League outside of Columbus tell me more than 5 players on that team? You take away Gaudreau and Laine, and most people can't bring it up. Zach Werenski's been out all year. I just think they have to build up that lineup. There's so many players that you can't name. They got rid of Gavrikov. He wasn't named on all the people in the Eastern Conference see the Blue Jackets. They know how good Gavrikov was as a defensive defenseman, but they just don't have the studs. Boone Jenner is a second line forward. He's our top guy right now. Yeah. But you know him because you've got relationship with the family. But you take most people, and you do this for a living. Yeah. Most people couldn't tell you who's on the ice in Columbus. So they need a lot of roster additions. They need a youthful injection, but they need some really good experienced players. And they've got, Johnny Gaudreau is not enough. There's no one player in the National Hockey League that can carry a team all by himself and get them in the playoffs. So I feel for the people in Columbus because they're a tough watch right now.
Yeah, and Cole's only 19, so nobody should know who he is, really. All right, Al, thanks for this, man. Enjoy the hockey. I always appreciate your time.
Take care. See you soon.
Washington Capitals TV analyst Alan May. We'll be right back with Overtime after this. We're live on Game Plus TV, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
dark horse bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Yeah, welcome back. It's overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League. You said the Moose is with us. Thanks, Clark. Let's bring him in. I feel like Howdy Doody with a cowboy hat string. Is this too tight on me, Moose? I look like, one of those.
What do they call them? The cowboy ties? With the little emblem at the neck and the strings hanging down?
Yeah, exactly. There, where we're good. Now he's caught up in my watch. There. In the bunker, remember I was strangling myself on a daily basis? I just fight with headphone cords. It's a thing in my life. Nice to see Alan May again.
Very nice. Yeah, and good things there. And, just a good person. Love chatting hockey with Alan. And, he was really big. I'll tell you a little story. When I was in Prince Edward Island, Team Saskatchewan was playing for the gold medal. And it was the first time since 1995 they'd been back in the game. And one of the players when they won gold in 95 was Patrick Marleau. And I don't have Marleau's number, but I'm sitting there racking my brain. How could I get Patrick Marleau to send a message in to the young boys in Saskatchewan to wish them good luck? And it was the same night he was getting his jersey retired in San Jose. So I texted Alan, and within 2 minutes, Alan's like, here's his number. You let me know if he doesn't deliver for you, and I'll get Brett Burns to deliver for you. Right? Sure enough, that night, within an hour, Patrick Marleau had sent in a video, and Bob's your uncle. So that's the kind of guy Alan May is.
Bob's your uncle.
How about that? Yes. Oh, so a couple comments from Ryan in New York. He says, bolo ties? Yes, that's what they are. I couldn't hear you, sorry, because I had pulled my earphone out. That's what you were asking what those were called?
Yeah.
Yeah, bolo ties. And Ryan also says, by the way, Alan May gets paid to eat and socialize. Man, I want his job.
How about
of course,
that?
We all do. The trouble is you have to have played in the National Hockey League to get one of those jobs. As I've found, as has been my experience. Jen from the Four Seasons writes in, she says, gotta go, everybody. You all have a great day. Go, Pats, go. And it's a good reminder to mention what's going on in the Dub, Sports on Tap, Medicine Hat at Brandon, Edmonton, Oil Kings at the Regina Pats, Dub, Lethbridge at Red Deer. Apparently the Rebels can win their clinch their first division title. And what did Jason from Red Deer say? 15 years? Is that what it was? Good for them. Woo. Attaboy, Sutsy. Kamloops at Everett tonight. Prince George at Kelowna. I am excited. This is like, people are making a lot of comments about my wardrobe this week. And yeah, a lot of comments coming in. And it's because it's my last week in Florida for quite some time. So I'm trying to get the wardrobe out. I'm very excited to immerse myself in the hockey culture that is springtime in Canada. I don't care. I get when people say fall's the best. And that's cool for everybody. Baseball playoffs, NFL kickoff, you name it. But for me, it's one thing. Melting, playoff hockey. The hockey's the best. Sean, watching in Vancouver, says it's a bolo tie, Moose. Thank you, Sean, in Vancouver. Perry S. Hockey is watching in Lethbridge. We're very big in Lethbridge, just so you know. He's watching on Game Plus Television Live, and Perry Shockey, the hockey people know him as a coach, and for those that aren't hockey people, now you do know. He says, Rod, the year that Brandon got Brian McCabe, with whom I believe scored the winning goal in OT in Game 7, behind the scenes, McCabe to PA for Chris Phillips, 1-for-1. Prince Albert turned it down. 96-97, Chris Phillips comes to Lethbridge for a run to the Memorial Cup final. Yay me. Shocks coached him in Lethbridge. Oh, I remember Shock very well. I believe we were in on that. We were a Pats team that had 5 first-round picks in the lineup. Derek Morris, Brad Stewart, Josh Holden, Dan Vogt, and I can't remember the 5th, but good old. Hey, what's going on with the Blades, by the way? You got anything to say about them, your favorite team? You going to go watch them soon?
Yeah, they're rolling, very much so. They're rolling, and I'm excited to see what they have going when they get into the playoffs. And I undoubtedly think it's going to end up being a matchup between them and Winnipeg, which is going to be a really good one, a big battle. So excited for the Blades, who continue to roll.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Shocks is watching in Lethbridge, I don't know if the Hitmen are going to get into the playoffs. They're right on the cutoff line. But at the very least, Shocks, you come through Calgary, pick me up, and we'll go to Red Deer together. And we'll watch the Red Deer Rebels in the playoffs. And let's hope that they have a long run. I went up to Red Deer a couple of years ago, and they lost out to Edmonton in round 1 as the Oil Kings went on to win the league. I get it. But maybe this is Red Deer's year. Moose, great job today. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks to Shane Hnidy and Alan May and the rest of you people. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, on Game Plus here in the Keep.
Who has more fun than us?
Bob's your uncle.